God drove him into the wilderness. Well, why would he drive him into the wilderness? Well, let's look at the scripture, and maybe we can connect some things here. It says, and he was there in the wilderness 40 days. And so not only is God describing what his action is and driving him, but then he's also telling you how long. And so what I'm saying is that God, when he drives us into the wilderness, also has an idea of how long we're going to be there. He, in other words, is setting it up for you.
All right.
Why would God doesn't he love me? Am I supposed to be prosperous? Never thought of the wilderness as being a place where prosperity could take place, where succeeding, where joy could take place. Jesus was there in the wilderness 40 days. God set not only where Jesus would be, but he also said how long he would be there. Do we resist going into the wilderness?
Mercy, Father.
Have you ever thought that maybe we are resisting God? Now, I'm not talking about wilderness experiences that we come into because we've made decisions not to honor God in our life. I'm not talking about wilderness experiences that take place because we've made a decision to do our thing. But isn't it interesting that God drives us into the wilderness? And so there we have to understand that God is saying, God is revealing to us that there are times of wilderness that we should expect. And guess what? What is great and joyful about what I'm seeing here is that it's only for a season. Come on.
Amen.
I can't tell you what's going to happen in the wilderness, but what I can tell you is that it's only for a season. And God has predetermined already how long your season is. Now somebody will say, well, how come I got to be in here so long? And I'm saying maybe your head is hard. I don't know.
Amen.
Or maybe that's just because God's preparing you in such a way that it means you have to be here longer. Maybe you haven't completed all of the tasks that are set before you. I don't know what it is. That's what I'm saying. I can't speak it into your life. I'm not a prophet. And be careful if you listen to one.
Woo! Amen.
But what I can say is that what is God saying? I can speak from authority, not because it's my word, but because this is what God is saying. And he was there in the wilderness. That word wilderness again keeps popping up. That word wilderness, if you look at the word wilderness right in its root, that word wild. We're going to deal with that word in a matter of fact in just a minute here. But to understand that God drives us into the wilderness.
Come on.
The wilderness. And so what happens while Jesus is in the wilderness? Well, we see here, not only has God described that he makes the move, that he takes action, that he purposefully puts us into the wilderness, and he also has described that there's a time, he's preordained how long we're going to be in the wilderness. But next, I believe what we're going to see is that God knows that there's hostility in the wilderness.